Hello there, Android TV. I'm Mike Bates. It's Tuesday, October 2nd, and this is the daily vlog where you get your latest Android news. Let's get going. So starting right off here today, probably the biggest change we saw was that HTC announced two new devices today, the One X Plus, which is an iterative upgrade to the HTC One X, and the HTC One XV, which is actually a mid-range device despite having the X in the name. They're kind of going back to the random names philosophy, but anyways, let's get right into this. The One X Plus is an iterative upgrade, meaning it's kind of a small upgrade to the HTC One X. It's got a 1.7 GHz Tegra 3 processor, it's got LTE, it's pretty much exactly the same on the outside except it's got like some red accents around the camera ring on the back and on the home button, around the capacitive buttons on the front. The front-facing camera going to bump up from 1.6 megapixels, or from 1.3 megapixels to 1.6 megapixels. Let's see what else. The speaker apparently has a built-in amplifier or something, so it's supposed to be louder, but it doesn't do anything for the headphones, just for the speaker. Let's see, what else did they add? They added a bigger battery, it's now 2100 milliamp hours, which as opposed to the 1800 in the original. And so it's kind of a, it launches with 4.1 Jelly Bean with this new version of Sense that they're calling 4 Plus, which is kind of probably a play off of the X Plus. That's what I'm guessing. Anyways, 4.1 Jelly Bean is Jelly Bean. It brings with it Project Butter, and from what I've seen, the phone looks really, really smooth, and you can access Google Now by long pressing the home button. Yes, something you can't do on the Samsung Galaxy S3 yet. Hopefully Samsung will patch that. Anyways, what else? Let's see. And Sense 4 Plus is basically a really iterative upgrade. Like, it just basically added some stuff to the camera and a couple other places around the OS. So nothing big changes on the Sense side, but on Android we've got Jelly Bean. So yes, and so along with that, they've also said that they're going to be giving the HTC One X and the HTC One S, which came out earlier this year, Jelly Bean in probably like late October after the One X Plus hits stores, because apparently they want that to launch first because they want the hype to be on that. And then as for the One XV, it is a mid-range device. It's got a 1.2 GHz Snapdragon S4 processor. It's dual-core. It's got like 1 gig of RAM. It's like a 5 megapixel camera, and it's a 4.5-inch 800 by 480 display. So it's nothing big. It launches with Android 4.0, and it will be upgradable to Jelly Bean at the same time that the One X and the One S are. So it's kind of a mid-range device. I think it's got even worse specs than the One S, so that's a very mid-range device, and it's interesting that they decided to unveil one of those as well, because I guess we saw some rumors about that. I may have written about them, I can't remember, but it's interesting to see this. I think that this is not HTC's last phone this fall. I would like to think that they still have a Galaxy Note 2 competitor, like a 5-inch screen competitor, in the works. If not, they're probably going to fall behind, because it's not quite cutting edge enough to really stay ahead when you've got like stuff like the Galaxy Note 2 coming out with LTE, 2 gigs of RAM, and like the quad-core Exynos processor, which outperforms the Tegra 3 so far. So we'll have to see how that goes. If you leave any comments about that, please do. I'd like to have some user feedback about any of the stories, so let's move right on. Next thing I wanted to talk about is the Android distribution charts. Every month or so, Google posts how much each Android version takes up of the platform, and so you get to see which versions of Android are growing or which ones are shrinking. And so Gingerbread has its mighty 56%, but the real news is that Ice Cream Sandwich, I think, has 23.7%, which is like nearly a quarter, so that's a big deal, because up until now, it's been a really slow rollout for Ice Cream Sandwich, and now that we finally have Ice Cream Sandwich phones hitting the market, it's even more pitiful to look at Jelly Bean, which only has 1.8% of the Android distribution chart, which is kind of sad, but hopefully as things get better, or as more phones get upgraded and more phones launch with Jelly Bean. It'll be better and better as things progress. But I don't know, I mean, we might see 4.2 unveiled this month with a new Nexus device, and I think that's going to be another iterative upgrade, because, I mean, they can't, it's like 4 months later, they can't release a major version. I would not say 5.0, I'd say 4.2. So, I mean, if that launches now, I think that could cause some problems in terms of the Android upgrading chart, unless I can see a whole lot of messy things happening where manufacturers would be so busy upgrading to Jelly Bean or Ice Cream Sandwich even, that the new update would get completely overlooked, unless they wanted to just upgrade directly from Ice Cream Sandwich or directly from Gingerbread to this new version, I don't know, Candy Cane or Key Lime Pie, whichever one it is. So speaking of like percentages and all that, the tablet market is getting pretty interesting. Like last year, we saw the iPad had like 81%, and the Android tablets had like 15% of the tablet market, and then I think there were probably like the Playbook and a couple like old Windows 7 tablets in there as well. Well, now things are getting interesting. Basically, the Android tablets have been pushing back against the iPad, where now the Android tablets have 48% of the market and the iPad has 52%. And I'll remind you, this is in 1 year. So these numbers are from before the Nexus 7 and Kindle Fire HD and Nook HD and HD Plus launch. So I think very quickly we will see the Android tablets pushing the iPad out of its market dominance. Oh, and from that Android percent, the Kindle Fire made up like 21% of it, which is, I guess, I sort of think of that as sad, because it's not really a fully featured Android tablet. I don't know if I would necessarily count it that unless you root it and ROM it and everything. So I always find it kind of sad to see that the Kindle Fire is like the most popular Android tablet. But hey, it's an Android tablet. I'm not going to complain that it's beating out Apple. So speaking of tablets, well, do you guys remember the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, like the original one that was like unveiled like a year and a half ago? Well, a sales ban has been lifted on that. If you haven't been following the whole Apple versus Samsung thing, Judge Koh banned it earlier this year for patent infringement, like anyone cared. But, well, like anyone cares, today, she lifted that ban due to some evidence due to some trial details that came to light, and it looks like we might have an overturning on the verdict itself. We'll have to see about that, but I'll be obviously reporting on it for you guys here on the YouTube channel, so stick around, watch the vlogs, it's gonna be cool. And so, speaking of patent cases, Samsung decided to add the iPhone 5 to their long list of iOS devices that they are saying are infringing on some wireless patents. Some of it is 3G, some of it's Wi-Fi, some of it is LTE. Well, live it's LTE, because remember earlier this month, last month, before the iPhone's reveal, Samsung and HTC both said that they were going to sue Apple over LTE patents, and so we'll have to see how that goes. We haven't seen any action on that yet. It could take a while too, but we'll have to see on that one. So, thank you for tuning in. I'm Mike Bates. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section below. Please feel free to like the video, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. See ya.